Germany built fighters so advanced that some Allied pilots thought they were facing secret weapons from the future. But behind the innovation was chaos, desperation, and a race against time. In 1939, the Luftwaffe fielded the most advanced fighter force on Earth. The Bf-109 set the standard for modern air combat, while radical engineers pushed boundaries no one thought possible. But as Allied pressure crushed Germany from all sides, the Luftwaffe entered a frantic arms race, throwing jets, rockets, prototypes, and even wooden emergency fighters into the sky. Today, we break down every major German fighter aircraft of World War II, from the workhorse 109s to the terrifying jet-powered experiments that reshaped aviation. The backbone, the Bf-109 and FW-190 line. Messerschmitt Bf-109, the workhorse of the Reich. The Messerschmitt Bf-109 was the backbone of the Luftwaffe, fast, agile, and deadly. It was one of the first true modern fighters, a sleek monoplane with retractable landing gear and cannon firing through the propeller hub. The Bf-109 fought from the first day of the war to the very last, and it scored more aerial victories than any other fighter in history. No aircraft better represents German air power. Messerschmitt Bf-109Z Zwilling, the twin 109. In a bid for more firepower, engineers created the Bf-109Z Zwilling, literally the twin. Two Bf-109 fuselages were joined together with a single center wing, producing a heavy interceptor with tremendous potential. It never reached combat, but it symbolizes the Luftwaffe's increasingly bold attempts to counter Allied bombers. Heinkel-Heike 112. Before the 109 became Germany's standard fighter, this aircraft nearly took its place. The Heinkel-Heike 112 was elegant, stable, and beautifully engineered. Several nations flew it in combat, including Spain, Romania, and Hungary. But the Luftwaffe wanted something faster, cheaper, easier to mass produce. So, Heike 112 was rejected, and the Bf-109 became the chosen one. Still, the Heike 112 tells an important truth. Germany had multiple world-class fighters available before the war. Politics decided the winner. Heinkel-Heike 100. Then came the Heike 100, one of the fastest piston fighters ever built. It smashed world speed records, hitting over 700 kilometers per hour. Propaganda showcased it as the new German superfighter. But in reality, very few were built. Internal politics and industrial limitations killed the project before it could challenge the 109. What Germany lost was potentially the fastest frontline piston fighter of the war. Focke-Wulf FW-190 Würger, the Shrike that shook the Allies. If the Bf-109 was the backbone, the FW-190 was the punch. Powered by a massive radial engine, the FW-190 was fast at low altitude, brutally armed, and remarkably rugged. And when it first appeared in 1941, the Allies panicked. The FW-190A was so dominant that the RAF rushed the Spitfire Mark IX into service just to counter it. The long-nosed FW-190D Dora extended that dominance to higher altitudes, becoming one of the best late-war piston fighters on any side. Focke-Wulf FW Tau-152, the final evolution. At the end of the war came the Tau-152, a stretched-wing supercharged interceptor designed to operate where oxygen was thin and engines failed. The Tau-152 was blisteringly fast, incredibly maneuverable, and one of the most advanced piston fighters ever built. Few reached combat, but those that did were formidable. Focke-Wulf FW-187 Falke. This is the fighter Germany should have built. The Focke-Wulf FW-187 Falke outperformed the Bf-110 in almost every category: speed, agility, climb. Pilots loved it, but politics killed it. The Luftwaffe leadership demanded only one twin-engine fighter, the Bf-110. The Falke remained a footnote, yet its performance showed what Germany could have fielded early in the war. Messerschmitt Bf 110 Zerstörer, the destroyer that refused to die. The Bf 110 was designed as a heavy twin-engine escort fighter, but during the Battle of Britain, it was outmatched by the Spitfire and Hurricane. Yet the 110 made a legendary comeback. What saved it was radar. As a night fighter, the Bf 110 became one of Germany's deadliest defensive weapons, hunting bombers in the dark with radar-guided precision. Messerschmitt Me 210, Me 410 Hornisse, the bomber killer. The Me 210 was a flawed design, but its replacement, the Me 410 Hornisse, fixed nearly everything. Faster, more stable, and heavily armed, the Hornet was purpose-built to destroy Allied bombers, and its deadliest weapon was infamous. The Me 410's 50mm cannon could destroy a B-17 with a single hit. Combined with rockets and multiple cannons, it was deeply feared by bomber crews. Junkers Ju-88CG, the heavy night fighter. The Junker Ju-88 was originally a bomber, but its adaptability made it a perfect night fighter. Equipped with massive radar arrays and heavy armament, Ju-88G interceptors formed the core of Germany's night defense network. These aircraft haunted the night skies over Germany, waiting in darkness for Allied bombers.
The final gamble: jets, rockets, and prototypes. Messerschmitt Me 262 Schwalbe, the first jet fighter in history. The Messerschmitt Me 262 was the world's first operational jet fighter, faster, deadlier, and more advanced than anything the Allies fielded. Flying at over 540 miles per hour, it could shred bomber formations before they could react. It was so fast that Allied fighters often couldn't intercept it unless it was landing or taking off. But fuel shortages, engine failures, and political interference stopped it from changing the war. Messerschmitt Me 163 Komet, the rocket interceptor. The Me 163 Komet was unlike anything else, a rocket-powered interceptor capable of climbing faster than any aircraft in history. But it came with horrifying danger. Its rocket fuel was so volatile that pilots could literally dissolve inside the cockpit if the tanks ruptured. It struck fear on both sides, but its short fuel supply and high risk limited its impact. Heinkel He 162 Salamander, the emergency fighter. Built almost entirely of wood to conserve metal, the Heinkel 162 was designed as a cheap, fast people's jet. But Germany's collapsing industry was evident. During testing, the wings sometimes fell off due to glue shortages. Despite its speed, it was flown by barely trained pilots and arrived far too late to matter. Horten HO-29, the world's first stealth aircraft. The Horten HO-29 was one of the most futuristic aircraft of World War II, a sleek flying wing powered by jets. But its most astonishing feature, its shape reduced radar visibility, making it the world's first aircraft with stealth characteristics. Only prototypes flew, yet they stunned Allied engineers. Heinkel He-219 Uhu, the Night Hunter. The He-219 was the first aircraft designed from the start as a night fighter. With radar, heavy cannon, and excellent altitude performance, it shot down dozens of Allied bombers. Many Luftwaffe pilots considered it the best night fighter Germany ever built. Dornier Do-335 Pfeil, the Arrow. The Do-335 featured a revolutionary push-pull configuration, one engine in front, one in back, giving it incredible speed and stability. With both engines running, it became the fastest piston-powered aircraft of the entire war. But like many German wonder weapons, it arrived too late for combat. Germany's fighters reveal a story of brilliance overshadowed by desperation. From the rugged FW-190A to the impossible Me-262 jet, the Luftwaffe pushed aviation forward but couldn't escape the crushing weight of Allied industry. Next time, we break down every German bomber that carried destruction across Europe, some famous,
Some forgotten.